So I guess you all want to know why I brought you all here today. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to this very important meeting. We have some very important business to discuss. Business involving all of the families. Business involving partnerships and agreements. I think you all know each other, but we've got our main benefactor, the Director of Enrollment from Blue Water College here. We also have the Director of Articulation from the DOE, who is no stranger to us all. Here we have the Vice President of Curriculum from Big University. And we have the CT Director of Schools. I must say your involvement is essential to our gathering today. Now that we're all acquainted, let's get down to business. And our business involves partnerships and articulation agreements. My consigliere will explain. He's the expert on this.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you for your time. Let's go ahead and jump into the conversation here. What is an articulation agreement? An articulation agreement is a formal partnership between two or more institutions of higher education with the goal of creating a seamless transfer process for students. So some agreements may include guaranteed credits for students, scholarships, and even waived fees. Some also include tuition discounts. The most common agreements are between community colleges and universities, secondary and post-secondary institutions. But today I would like for our community to think about the adult education and post-secondary options for articulation agreements. So we're going to cover several different options and ideas today, so just keep that in mind. So let's talk about articulation partners. There's three partners that I would like to share with you. And the first partner is the Department of Education. And here in Florida, we have the Florida Department of Education, and the post-secondary institutions, and then workforce, which includes local businesses and employers. So let's talk about the Department of Education first. They are an extremely important partner because they provide general rules and guidance on the types of agreements, what should be included in the agreements, when agreements may be due, examples of existing agreements, and statewide agreements. So the second partner is our post-secondary institutions. Now this includes our community colleges, our state colleges, and our private and public universities. The open access model of community colleges provide guaranteed admissions for students who have a GED or high school diploma, and they offer high levels of student support for students. Very important, especially when we talk about our adult learners. The community college partners with state colleges and university systems to provide additional pathways for students. And this is cool because some community colleges may have a specific number of programs, and the programs that they may not have, they can be a bridge to the programs at the state colleges and universities. So let's talk about the cool thing about Florida. I love Florida, and the cool thing about Florida is we have great weather, we have fantastic beaches, but outside of that, we have 2+2 partnerships. So what is 2+2 partnerships? This is where colleges partner to where students can complete a 2-year degree at a community college, and then they can continue on at a state college or a university to continue with their bachelor's degree. So Florida, another cool thing about Florida is that Florida has statewide articulation agreements. The state of Florida establishes statewide articulation agreements and helps to facilitate seamless transition of students across and among Florida educational entities. These agreements provide a minimum guarantee of articulated credits and allows institutions from granting additional credit based on local agreements. So this is great because this provides opportunities for the institutions across the state to really work with each other in the best ways possible to ensure that we help our most valued asset, and that's our student. So when we talk about 2+2 partnerships, a couple of things that are components of the 2+2 partnerships. The first one is the Common Course Numbering System. Courses that have the same academic content and are taught by faculty with comparable credentials are given the same prefix and number and are considered equivalent courses. So this is great because, again, if a student takes a course at a college in North Florida and they transition down to college in South Florida or wherever, they are able to receive credit, and it's a seamless opportunity for them to receive those credits because they have the same numbering system and there's a system in place for the transfer. And then there's a transfer guarantee. Now this guarantees the transfer of credit for equivalent courses regardless of the public or non-public status of the institution. So students are guaranteed the transfer of credit in the state of Florida as long as those courses are equivalent. Another thing is that students have rights here in the state of Florida, and it is called the transfer of student rights. Students who graduate from an institution within a Florida college system with an Associates of Arts degree are guaranteed transfer rights under the statewide Articulation Agreement. So again, this is a cool thing about Florida in that a lot of other states don't have this, so this is a phenomenal opportunity again to partner with colleges in the state. This is just a slide, just kind of shows you kind of what it looks like. So the community colleges is kind of like the hub for a lot of our students. Now again, students may start at a private university or state college, but a lot of the articulation agreements start with the community colleges and continue on to public universities, state colleges, and private universities to where they get a 2-year degree and then they're able to transfer to another institution and receive credit, or better yet, finish their education in a particular baccalaureate program. So our third partner is workforce partners. So this is where our local businesses and employers come into play. Very important that we make partnerships with our workforce community because they can really help us with training. They are the experts sometimes in the workforce in regards to whether it's manufacturing, whether it's business, finance, culinary, cooking. There's so many different options of partnerships when we talk about workforce. They can also be helpful when we come to advisory groups. So if you're looking to form an advisory group and get more information on how to strengthen your program, reach out to your workforce community and see how they may be able to assist you in the planning of your curriculum and maybe even some resources and equipment that you may need for training. And then they also have, we can look at apprenticeships and hiring opportunities. So again, the apprenticeship opportunities are where a student is actually enrolled in school and they're also working for a company. And this is getting students prepared for the workforce and getting them prepared for job ready. And then again, when they're done with that particular program, they could be hired by those particular companies. So it's very good, great idea if we can partner with them. So let's talk about the benefits. What are the benefits of articulation agreements? So now that we know what an articulation agreement is, let's talk about the benefits. So again, our prized asset and our central focus is our student. The students, they benefit from articulation agreements because it helps students to save time. It also helps them to save money. It helps students easily transition to higher education. And it also provides clear pathways to post-secondary credentials. Now, the institutions that are a part of the agreement, they also benefit. So the articulation agreements helps institutions to understand their responsibilities for student services. It also helps the institutions to attract more students. If there's a particular pathway that a student finds at a program or at an institution, and they can find that it leads them to a point of interest for them, if they want to go to a university or if they want to get into a particular field, and that program would get them there, then it would attract those students to your programs. And then it also helps to strengthen the institutional partnerships. So when institutions have these agreements, it really helps the community of institutions to work better together to ensure that we help our students. So let's talk about 3 types of articulated credits. There's more, but I'm going to just focus on these 3 for now. First one that we have is the gold standards and that is where we have guaranteed credits for earning industry certifications. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then career pathways, this is where students receive credits after completing a career technical program. And then there's also dual credit, and this is where students receive high school and college credit at the same time. And then again, another cool thing about Florida, we have great weather, we have great beaches. All right, just a little joke there. But let's talk about Florida Gold Standard Industry Certifications. So Gold Standard Industry Certifications articulation agreements are maintained by the Florida Department of Education as a means for the student to receive college credit for successfully earning nationally recognized industry certifications. These certifications are aligned with associate in applied science degrees or associates in science degrees. The intent is to guarantee a minimum of college credits for students entering into approved degrees if the course aligns with the student's guided pathway academic plan, and credits are posted to their official transcript. So you can find these statewide agreements just simply by going to the website for the Department of Education, Florida Department of Education, type in statewide career pathways or statewide articulation agreements, and then you'll get these links here, and you can click on these links, and it'll actually show you what the articulation looks like. So when we look here, these are a few components. When we look at this particular program, this is a Building Construction Technologies career certificate. So if a student, any student who actually has this certificate can go to a college that has an AS degree or an AAS degree of Building Construction Technology, and they're guaranteed 3 course credits at that college. So they can come in and say, hey, I received this industry certification, and as long as the college has that program, they're guaranteed 3 credits. So this is a phenomenal opportunity for not only for students to be able to accelerate in college, but it's a great opportunity for institutions to be able to help their students to get to those courses and bypass courses that they've already met the learning requirements for. So here's a few steps that I put together. These are just steps for acceleration. The first step for students is that students should start to explore career clusters. We'll talk about career clusters shortly, but career clusters are groups of similar industries developed by the U.S. Department of Education as a way to organize career planning. The second thing they should do is enter a career pathway program. So again, we're talking about, I'm very familiar with our secondary schools. I work very closely with them. However, when we're thinking about adult education, again, what does that program look like, and how does the student actually enter that program? So student, once they've identified which program they want to get into, they would enter that career program, and then they benefit by entering the program because they have a clear path for graduation requirements, and they can earn college credits and industry certifications so that they can gain valuable knowledge and they can get ready for their career choice. And then once they're done with that program, they can accelerate the education because every student that completes a Career Pathway Academy will earn college or clock hour credit. Again, now I'm speaking more so from the model of the secondary to post-secondary career and technical partnerships. But again, looking at it from an adult education standpoint, there could be a similar model that could be put together. And then after that, after the student has completed their program, then they can accelerate their earnings. Basically, they're going into the workforce. So this is where we get with our workforce partners, and we identify opportunities for them to go ahead and use those the education that they've received, the certifications, and possibly even apprenticeship opportunities there. So when looking into career clusters, and then there's different language here, and this is sometimes it can be confusing for students because the secondary uses career clusters. When we get to the colleges, we use different language. At my college, we use meta majors, and then our secondary students use clusters. So it's important that we're able to help our students to identify and understand plainly, like, what does it mean, when I complete this program, what program am I able to get into at the college? And this is where mapping comes into play. So let's talk about course learning objectives and a match. So this is where we look at curriculum connections, and this is important because from a GED, or I'm sorry, an adult education program or a secondary program, it's important that we are working with our post-secondary institutions to identify what learning course objectives that we actually have, that our students have completed, that matches courses learning objectives at the college. So we match frameworks. So when a student completes a program, let's say a student completes a certain amount of courses at a adult education program or a secondary school, and we find that they match the courses at the college, then now what happens is that articulation agreement that we create with that post-secondary institution gives that student an opportunity to receive credits. So what that does is it helps them to accelerate when they receive their GED or when they've actually completed their high school diploma and the career and technical program. And then they can receive credits. So this is an example of a secondary relationship and a college, a state college and or a technical college partnership. And this is where every academy completer would receive a specific amount of credits upon completion of a career academy. And again, we've identified that by looking at the frameworks that they've completed, and we've matched them with the courses at the college to ensure that the student has not only learned the information, but they're ready for the next course that would be in play. So if you can see here, a student would receive 12 credits here as a completer. And then if they're looking to go into, let's say, this technical college or the state college, and they wanted to complete a business specialist technical certificate, which would be on the AS track, the certificate has 12 credits, okay? So if you can just stick with me just for a minute. So every completer is actually going to receive up to 12 credits, right? And they're looking to go into the business specialist technical certificate. So the agreement has a match between the introduction to business and essentials of contemporary leadership and in both programs. So what would happen is when a student actually comes to the college, they would receive 6 credits towards the technical certificate, and they would only have to complete 6 more credits at the college. So this is amazing acceleration method and mechanisms for students because, again, it's going to save them time and it's also going to save them money. And the articulation agreement makes it easy for the credits to be credited to the student. So this is a phenomenal opportunity for students to be able to get credits that they've earned from prior learning. When we look at the components of an agreement, we want to include a few things. So a couple things we want to focus on is the program of study. What is the program of study? Is it business? Is it hospitality? Or is it health science? What is the specific program of study, or and then also maybe what is the career cluster? And including that in the agreement so that it's clear in regards to what the mapping is to the post-secondary institution. And then it should also include the credits that are earned. So if a student is going to earn 3 to 6 credits, it should be listed and it should be clear so that there's not any questions. And then the completion requirements. What does a student need to do to receive those credits? In this particular agreement, it states that the student needs to complete 4 courses, and those courses are listed. As long as the student completes those courses, then they would receive the credits at the college. So creative articulation. So this is an example of a booklet that we created, which is it was a colorful book, and this also helped our students and parents, and I'll even go as far as to say it also helped faculty and staff at the secondary level and at the college to understand the articulation agreement. Sometimes it's difficult to understand the agreements, but this particular visual made it a little easier to understand. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So when we look at this particular page here, this shows a program which is hospitality and tourism. So if a student actually went into this particular career cluster, and at this high school they have a specific program or academy. Upon the completion of the academy, it says in here that a student will receive a special amount of credits specific amount of credits if they complete the academy. And it also maps to the programs at the college. So in reading this, we use color, and it just gives the students an opportunity to really understand how their program will map to the college, and then also some career opportunities. We even had a scenario, or better yet, a testimony from one of our actual students who completed the program and who is now successful and who is working in a career. So what this does, this helps the students to really see that it's doable and that they can actually do it as well. Especially when we have real testimonies that we can use for our students. And then this is another one. This is a marketing career cluster. And if a student completed a program here, again, like the Entrepreneurship Academy or the Marketing Management and Entrepreneurship Principal Academy, then they would receive credits towards a business degree or a specific degree that's mapped out here clearly as well. And again, this is just an example, just kind of showing you the visual. I'm not getting into the details, but I just wanted to show this as a visual because this did help a lot of students, and it still helps me sometimes when I'm looking for information in regards to our students and how to help them and serve them. Okay, so that pretty much concludes what we need to talk about today. I just wanted to make sure that you understood what articulations are, some of the benefits of them, and hopefully this takes away some of the confusion. But just wanted to find out, how was that, boss?
Yeah, the information was very good and it was accurate. Thank you for sharing. Excuse me. Hello.
Stop playing around. The girls need their bears back.
Okay. Buonasera.